that's the way I have to play the game. There's a couple skill players on the other team, and you know, from my experience, if you hit those guys early on, they don't really want to carry the puck into the middle of the ice later on in the game. So, you know, it's a confidence thing for them. If they can wheel around early, then you know, they have that the rest of the game. So I think that's kind of my job to step up early, give them a pop, and then see how they respond.
Kevin Bieksa's opponents can thank his family for his fire and his aggression. Every Christmas, the Bieksas and friends play for the Tin Cup. No room for the squeamish.
Well, as you can see, it's a very expensive trophy. Actually, we picked up the trophy for $1 at a yard sale, and it's screwed onto a bunch of beer cans that have been crumpled up through all the celebration over the last few years. And but more importantly, it's very coveted by both teams, and once that puck drops, everything goes. It's full contact, and it would be unusual at the end of the game if a couple of players weren't bleeding in the dressing room.
Well, one thing we should point out, just as we'll show here, the NHL player has never been the MVP of this tournament.
Well, we're hoping that Kevin, you know, gets some good experience playing with the Canucks there, and eventually, sometime he'll be able to play in this game and bring what it needs to have him enjoy the honor of being the MVP. He certainly hasn't demonstrated that yet.
We kind of had a brawl a couple years ago. I don't think there was real punches thrown, but a couple of my buddies and the other team grabbed me and tried to pull me to their bench, and my dad actually jumped over the boards and to get in there. So,
your father says he is still the toughest Bieksa. Is that true?
Oh, he's been ducking me for the last couple of years, so I don't know. We might have to see this summer.
I think his two brothers would agree with me that I am definitely the toughest, and probably his oldest brother is the one that you would least want to be in a fight with.
Bieksa didn't start playing defense until he was 15 and broke his ankle in his OHL draft year. He decided to go the NCAA route, where he learned that at his size, he'd have to be in great shape to play the way he wanted. In 2004, he joined the AHL's Manitoba Moose. It is a legendary story in Canucks circles that he punched out Sergei Fedorov's younger brother, Fedor, shortly after arriving in an off-ice fight he tried to avoid. Even now, he doesn't like to discuss it.
What happened with Fedorov?
It's kind of a blur to me. I don't know. One of the first nights I was there, and just a little dust up in the bar, just boys being boys, I guess. And funny thing is, afterwards, ended up being friends and hanging out a little bit. So, you know, it worked out in the end.
I know Brian Burke loves telling that story. You seem a little bit more embarrassed about it that it happened.
Yeah, well, it's obviously something that if I could do it over again, I probably wouldn't have, you know, chose the same path. But, you know, you learn from your mistakes. I'm lucky that it worked out for me, and don't encourage anybody else to follow the same footsteps.
Truth is, off the ice, Bieksa is a calm, quiet person. He is exactly the man his parents wanted him to be: aggressive on the ice, respectful off it.
I know when he comes across a tough situation, either on the ice or off the ice, that he remembers the lessons and the learning experiences we went through when he was younger.
What's the most important one?
Probably respect.
He's my mentor, and you know, he taught me everything I knew. So, you know, the product of what you see today is from him. I used to go watch him play in the Stelco leagues, which is a factory back in Hamilton that he worked, and I don't know why, but it was a full contact league back then, and it was pretty rough, and those are my earliest memories of going to the rink.
He basically said, well, my goal was never to get drafted in the NHL, my goal was to play in the NHL. I'll get excited when I actually make it. I'm very proud of that.